what's going on, everybody? Nefarious Wes here. And today I'm going to be doing a video that I have been wanting to do for quite a while now, and I'm finally getting around to it. Now that Konami has announced that they're going to be releasing a Contra Collection, I figured what better time than now to go over my collection and just talk about one of my all-time favorite franchises in video games. Now, I first heard about Contra on the playground back in 1988. One of my friends was talking about it. I had no idea what it was, but the name stuck. And then one day I was visiting the toy store that I used to frequent, Lionel Play World. That was my toy store. That's where I used to get all my Nintendo stuff. They had Contra on display where you could play it. And I remember I got to the end of stage 1, and back then I was like, oh, you fight this giant radio. I didn't know what to call it back then. So the original Contra on NES was my first exposure to the series, to the franchise, and I used to play it over at my buddy Tony Mueller's house all the time. And man, I wonder what happened to that guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in prison or he's dead by now. Sorry, Tony, but kid was troubled. Anyway, that was the first time that I had played co-op, and we used to play it all the time. Of course, with the 30-man code. I don't need it now. I can no-death run this game with ease. But yeah, we used to use the 30 lives code all the time, and it wasn't until I was a teenager that I really started to appreciate the Contra games more. Started to play them a lot more. Was a lot more serious about beating them. I quit using the extra lives codes, and I really enjoyed the game a lot more as I got older, and my skills just got more refined. So Contra's always a good one. I always pop this in the NES, still to this day, consistently. I love playing it, and it's one of those games that I know so well that I can just pop it in and I can beat it without the code anytime I want. So it wasn't until after I played the original NES version that I finally came across an arcade cabinet and was able to play this game on the arcade. Now, obviously I don't own a Contra arcade, so I don't have a physical copy, but I do have the arcade ROM on my Super Retrocade, so thank God I'm able to play it there. It's not as good as the NES version. The NES version made a lot of improvements. Konami was actually known for that. They often made their home ports much better than the arcade versions, but I still really like it. I mean, it's Contra, and I have nostalgia for it. So I remember playing it back in the day when I was a kid, so I still like to give this one a go every now and then.
What is this place?
Keep your eyes peeled.
Oh yeah, so the next arcade that came out was Super Contra. Again, I don't own it, but I can play it on this bad boy right here. But yeah, I played Super Contra shortly after I played the regular Contra arcade at an arcade called Aladdin's Castle. It was by the Aurora Mall. That's where I used to go to play arcades all the time. And I just remember the sound of this game just dominated. You could hear it blaring throughout the whole arcade. Just calling you, just begging for quarters. So, this one's a lot better than the Contra arcade in my opinion. It's still not as good as Super C on the NES, because like I said before, Konami had a way of making their home ports a lot better, and my god, they really went all out on this one. The music in this game is just fantastic. One of my favorite soundtracks. My only issue with Super C is that it's kind of easy. I beat it the first day I got it. So, and I'm sure a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was already a Contra master by then. So it plays pretty much exactly the same. The controls are the same. The guns are a little bit better in this one. You can actually notice the rapid fire when you pick up the R in this one. This game is awesome. I love this game. It's another game I can no-death run, another game I can pop in casually and do very well at any time. So this one's great. I love Super C. I always will.
It is I, Red Falcon, the vile alien warlord from Konami Super C for Nintendo. He never made it past my intergalactic goon squad and diabolic arsenal of destruction. This one never had a chance against my vicious genetic space freaks. And they were no match for my invincible 8th level invasion. See how far you can get in Super C. You never know where you might end up.
So, of course, with such a popular franchise on the NES, Konami would have to be complete morons to not release a Game Boy version, Operation C. It plays more like a black and white Super C, but it has brand new stages. Almost all the music is borrowed from previous Contra games, though, and it doesn't sound nearly as good as it does on the NES. So that's kind of disappointing, but this game is really good. It's fun, it controls well. It's a bit slow, and I'm guessing because it's on the Game Boy, you know, it would have been hard to dodge fast bullets on such a tiny screen with no blacklight, no color. Once you start playing this game, it's pretty hard to put down. It's a lot of fun. This Contra game was my favorite for a long time, and it's still one of my favorites. It still holds up today, if you ask me. The music is incredible. The graphics are fantastic. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Now, this is one of the very first SNES games I had ever played. I played it shortly after it came out, and my god, it just blew me away. The music is just incredible. The Mode 7, the giant plane that flies in and just bombs you. The overhead rotating stages. I know a lot of people don't like those stages. I don't mind them. And maybe that's just because I grew up with it, so I'm used to it. This game is fantastic. The problem, though, is that it can only be beaten on hard, and it is insanely brutal. Not only do you have to memorize everything, but on top of memorization, like the bullets are super fast, the enemies are really aggressive, and you cannot get the true ending unless you beat it on hard mode, which I've never done. The game is just brutal, and I really don't want to put the dedication into it. One of these days I will. I just haven't done it yet. So, to circumvent that issue, I got the Super Famicom version, which is called Contra Spirits. Now, the reason I got this version is because it has a 30 lives code. And I was like, god damn it, I just want to see the ending. Yeah, I'll do it legit one of these days. But I just wanted to see the ending, so I got it just for the 30 lives code. And what do you know? When you beat the game, the ending is all in Japanese. So, yeah, I still have to beat the American version. Which, like I said, I'm going to do it one of these days. But yeah, man, this game is insanely brutal. I might even say it's the hardest Contra game out there. It's definitely the one that I struggle with the most, so, despite having played it since 1992. So this next game I added to my collection about 10 or 11 years ago, strictly because I wanted every Contra game in my collection. Contra Force, or how I like to call it, Contra Farce, because man does this game suck. So, it was originally supposed to be called Arc Hound on the Famicom back in Japan. The game was canceled, but hey, I guess it's good enough for us Americans, right? Let's just slap the Contra name on it and, you know, shit out this really subpar video game, and people will buy it because it has the Contra name on it. Yeah, well, I don't think people were very fooled. It has the reputation of being a terrible game. It's broken, man. So when I was capturing footage for this, oh my god, like, sometimes the screen, like, doesn't scroll. And then you get killed because the screen's not scrolling. It's like you're walking up against a wall. Dude, that's platforming 101. The screen scrolls forward when you walk forward. I couldn't believe it. The game is such a broken mess. When only your sprite is on screen, the game has slowdown. It's atrocious. I don't know, I guess it has some redeemable qualities. The music is at least good. At least it has that going for it. But here's one caveat with this game, is the game, I don't know how much it goes for right now. I know it goes for a lot though, and it is so not worth it. When I bought this game, I paid 20 bucks for it, and I was pissed that I paid $20 for it. I was like, this game is garbage. I can't believe I paid $20 for this game, and the only reason I did is because I wanted every Contra game in my collection. So, there you have it. I'm glad I bought it back then, because there's no way in hell I would own this game for what's going for these days. God, no. Hell no. Nah.
Pull yourself together. It's Konami's Contra Hardcore for Sega Genesis. Cool.
Alright, so I am a big Sega Genesis fan. I grew up with the Sega Genesis. I love the Sega Genesis. But it was still kind of weird when I saw a Contra game on the Genesis. It was just strange to see Konami games on anything other than a Nintendo platform. And a lot of that was due to the stupid rules that Nintendo made everyone conform to, which is one of the reasons why I don't like Nintendo as a company, but whatever, I'm getting off track here. Contra Hardcore. Now this game is exactly that. It is hardcore. It is brutal. It's a tough game. It takes a lot of memorization, and once you start memorizing stuff, then the game is a lot more manageable. Like Contra 3, I have not beaten this game yet. I got really far. I was playing it a lot when I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she was really needy. The only time I ever got alone time was like when I had to take a shit. So I like never had time to myself to play video games. So I thought it was a miracle that I made it to like the final stage when I was playing this a lot when I was with her, considering I rarely had time to practice it. So I need to get back to this one. I need to beat it. But like Contra 3, the Japanese version has some differences. Mainly that the game is much easier. Now, on the Japanese version of Contra Hardcore, you have a life meter, so you can take 3 hits of damage before you die. There's also a 70 lives code, which is overkill. You don't need that many lives. But I wanted to see the Japanese version. I wanted to see the differences. I wanted to use the code just to check out some of the other stages in the game. So I got a repro card of it just to see it. I'm not going to spend over $100 on a legit Mega Drive cart for a game that I already own that is just slightly different. I'm not going to do that. So I went ahead and got a repro instead. And it's a lot of fun. But like I said, I need to beat it legit on the American version, which I'll do. But this game it's awesome. It has great music, tons of action. I would say that it's probably better than Contra 3. It has more stages, just offers a lot more variety. And it's goofy, man. Like, Contra started getting goofy after a while, maybe starting with this game. It's got some real goofy stuff in it. So, some Easter eggs. It's a lot of fun. So when the PlayStation came out, you know, a lot of franchises started moving over there and started going the 3D route, which was pretty much a mixed bag. Like, you either got a really good 3D game or you got like a really bad one. There was almost like no in between. Contra Legacy War went the 3D route, and it's not that good. I really haven't played this game that much since I first beat it back in the day. I did go through it all, but I just remember the game was an absolute mess. They mapped the jump to the circle button. Like, what are you thinking? What the hell are you guys doing? It wasn't developed by Konami. It was developed by a company called Appaloosa. And it's not good. It's not good, but you know what? I gotta have Contra. I gotta have it. So I gotta have every Contra game. So yeah, that's why it's in my collection. So Appaloosa wasn't done shitting out crappy games because they went ahead and did another one for some reason. C, the Contra Adventure. Now this one is actually better than Legacy War. They went back to the Contra roots where it's more of a 2D style, but kind of like 2.5D with like, you know, polygon graphics. It looks ugly. It looks really ugly. The game doesn't play very well. Like I said, it's still better than Legacy War, but honestly, that's not saying much.
Need more firepower? Jump into Contra, Shattered Soldier. Blazing fast action, swarms of alien enemies, and all the firepower you need to get the job done. Contra, Shattered Soldier, rated T for PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance from Konami.
Oh, fuck yeah, now we're talking. Now we're talking some intense Contra action. Shattered Soldier on the PlayStation 2. Holy shit, is this game awesome. My former roommate, John, who you've seen in some of my videos, we used to play this game all the frickin' time. We got so goddamn good. We actually beat the game, I'm gonna say about 3 years ago, over 3 years ago. We did a Let's Play, and it was actually our very first time completing the game in its entirety with 2 players, because like any Contra game, it's always more difficult with 2 player simultaneous play because each player has their own way of doing things, of scrolling the screen at certain points, which can often get the other player killed if you're not communicating. So this was actually the first time we completed the game together, and we did it on a Let's Play, so I'm still pretty proud of it. Yeah, we used the 30 lives code, but that's how difficult this game is. Pretty much have to almost no death run the game to straight up beat it, and this game is brutal. It's so hard to do. I don't think I could ever no death run this game. There's just too many variables. Like, I have the game memorized, I know exactly what I need to do, and I still die. It's a really tough game, but man, is it fun. A lot of people like to call it a boss rush mode type game, and I guess that is pretty accurate. Most of the game is just fighting bosses. There's a little filler in between where, you know, you do the regular Contra side-scrolling stuff, but the action is just intense, and oh my god, the soundtrack just pumps you up. So when you're playing an intense game where you gotta shoot the shit out of everything and you're being swarmed by enemies, you need a soundtrack that matches that intensity, and that's exactly what Shattered Soldier does here. My god, does this game pump me up. I listen to the soundtrack when I'm not playing the game. It's that intense. It's that good. I highly recommend this game. A lot of people slept on this game. I think the PlayStation Contras turned a lot of fans off to where they didn't even want to mess with Shattered Soldier, and that is a huge mistake because the game is fantastic. It's I would say it's in my top 10 all-time favorite games. It's that damn good. I love it. If you have not played it, check it out. But I'm warning you, it is hard as shit. It's really hard. So yeah, I already have, you know, the American and Japanese versions of Contra 3, but that still doesn't stop me from getting Contra the Alien Wars. Was it Contra Advance the Alien Wars EX? Alright, so when I first got this game, I was just like, man, this sucks. This is bad. The music was just atrocious. You don't have the bombs anymore. You don't get bombs. You can only carry one weapon. I mean, like, what are you fucking doing here? You're totally watering this down. Then the overhead stages were replaced with some Contra Hardcore stages, which I'm cool with. I have no issue with that. It just seemed like a really poor port. But when I started capturing footage for this, I couldn't help but wanting to keep playing it, wanting to keep, you know, trying and getting a little bit further. So it's not as bad as I had initially thought, but it's still not great. And I think this game is pricey now, so I'm glad that I already have it in my collection because I wouldn't spend a lot of money on this game. Hell no. So with the awesomeness that was Shattered Soldier, when another Contra game came out on the PS2 in the form of Neo Contra, oh, come on. I got it on its release day. I was there at the store on my lunch break. I went right to the video game store, snagged this shit, brought it back, was looking through it, like, you know, while I was at work and stuff, and discovered this, and I always have to show this when I talk about this game. Cover art, right? You take it out, you flip it around, and Ooh. Now, I always have to mention this because there's a lot of people that own this game and have no idea that the full artwork is on the reverse side of the cover art sleeve, so that's pretty awesome. But I had not played this game in a long time. It's another, I mean, just like any Contra game, it takes a ton of memorization. I was out of practice, and I'm just like, man, I'm not going to play well, so I kind of avoided it for a long time. But I needed footage for this video, and oh my god, what a fantastic game. I was having such a blast with it that I'm gonna keep playing it. So, hell yeah, I'm probably gonna do a review for it, so keep an eye out for that. Fantastic game. Again, the same people that did the music for Shattered Soldier did the music for this game, and it does not disappoint. Frickin' sweet. So, of course, I had to get Contra 4. I mean, it's Contra. I was all over it. I think I got this the same day that I got my DS. It's probably one of the things that encouraged me to get the DS, even though I really wasn't playing handhelds anymore. And I'll be honest, I played that DS maybe less than 30 times. I'm just not into handhelds anymore. So, I know that this game is really good, but for the fact that I don't really play handhelds anymore, I haven't played this game in, I'm going to say, at least 8 years. If I had a way to play it on the TV, I'd be all over it. But I'm just not a fan of playing games on handhelds anymore. I had no way to capture the footage, so the footage you see here is footage that, you know, I found off of YouTube, just so you guys can see the game. And I would really love to get into this, but I know me, I'm not going to play it on a handheld. So if this game is ever released in some form or fashion to where I can play it on my TV, I'm all over it. And yeah, I'll put the time and dedication into it. But until that happens, this is probably just going to sit on my shelf. So the next game is one that was released digital only for the Wii. It was a WiiWare game, and that's Contra Rebirth. Now, Konami did 3 Rebirth games for the Wii. There was Contra Rebirth, there was Castlevania Rebirth, and then my favorite of the 3 was Gradius Rebirth. I think that's the best one because, how do I put this? Contra Rebirth, while it's fun and I do enjoy playing it, it feels kind of cheap to me. So I was already used to the standard that the 2 previous PlayStation games had established, and those games were just fantastic. Great music, great graphics. I expected more of the same. And then when this game came out, like, it looked like a 16-bit game. Music wasn't as good as Super Nintendo music. And then the game only has 5 stages and 1 final boss battle, so it's really short. It just felt kind of cheap for a Contra game. Some of the stages were kind of cheap. My favorite stage 3, where you're riding on like the camels, you're driving on the highway, that stage was very well done. But some of the other stages are just kind of cheap and frankly pretty easy to get through. So it's still a really fun game though. I really enjoyed playing it, I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun capturing footage for it, so, you know. Unfortunately, the Wii shop is closed, so the game is no longer available, but I am sure that there are ways to emulate it, so if you missed out on this one, that's probably going to be the only way you're going to be able to play this one, unless it ever gets re-released, which let's hope it does. And my final game in the Contra collection doesn't even have the Contra name in it. That game is Hardcore Uprising. Now, this game came out digital only again, on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I have the PS3 version. Man, is this game excellent. Now, I know a lot of people missed out on this one because it doesn't have the Contra name. Big mistake. I'm telling you right now, get this game. If you're a Contra fan and you have not played this game, get it today. Get it right now. When this video's over, get online and buy it. This game is fantastic. I wasn't too enamored with the anime style graphics. I like my Contra games to look a little more realistic, but you can't deny that the game is freaking gorgeous. It might not be your cup of tea, but it still looks fantastic. You know what? And I don't even care about the graphic style anymore. The game is so good that, and it looks good. It's not my style, but it still looks good. It was developed by Arc System Works, so that would explain, you know, the anime style graphics. The music is really good, and the game is brutal. It is tough. One of the best things about this game is the replay value. You go through what's called the Uprising mode, and you power up your player by earning points, and then you can select which attributes you want to level up, just like an RPG game, except it's, you know, a balls to the wall, you know, run and gun shooter game. So it's like the best of both worlds. For me, that instantly sucked me in. I couldn't stop playing the game. Now the game is also, it's super long. It has 8 stages. Each stage can take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to complete. They are so huge and epic. I love it. I love how big the stages are. I love the variety. I love how much you have to memorize it. And it's real fun with 2 players. Online 2-player play is the way to go on this one. It is just such a blast, and there's different characters that you can use. I mean, this game has it all, and you could argue that this is the best Contra game. And in fact, I'm going to say that this is the best Contra game. I like Shattered Soldier a little bit more, but that's my personal taste. I mean, I think objectively, Hardcore Uprising is the better game, and probably the best one in the series. Get it right now. So yeah, that's my Contra collection. Like I said, I have been wanting to do this video for a long time now, so I'm glad that I finally got around to it. I pretty much have every Contra game except Alien Wars on the Game Boy. So yeah, the last time I came across Alien Wars on the Game Boy, it was pretty pricey, and I was like, I'm not paying that much for a Game Boy game. For a game that I already own 2 other versions of it? Like, nah, forget that. I mean, eventually I want it, but it's not high on my list. You know, I'll get it eventually, but I'm not gonna pay some stupid amount for it. It's not worth that much for me to complete my collection. So I'm a cheap bastard, and I'm gonna stick by that. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I know that, you know, unscripted collection type videos is something I don't usually do, but you know, I was going to make an exception in this case, and there's another franchise that I think I'm going to give similar treatment. I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'll probably do something with another one of my favorite franchises here in the future shortly, so keep an eye out for that. So if you want to check out some of my prior Contra videos, I did a top 5 Contra video a few years ago. I also covered Contra Shattered Soldier in a video. So I'll go ahead and leave those right here. So again, thank you everyone for checking out this Contra video, Contra collection. I know there's a lot of Contra fans out there, so I want to know what Contra games you guys have in your collection, which ones you're missing out on, which ones that you're trying to attain, all that good stuff. So until next time, catch you guys later.